Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Wednesday. Making the turn on this work week of ours. Big thanks for making us a part of your start if you're already up and at it. If you're tuning in on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available online, sportstalk1051.com. You got your app. Take a look at or download that. Take it on the go. You got your Alexa and Google devices. Also, YouTube video stream up and rolling here this morning. Multiple ways for you to be tuning in. That Shoe Doctor's bullpen line also up and rolling here as well. So, and the Section 105 chats on our YouTube page. So, all right, what do we got on our game plan for us this morning? We got lots to get to here. We got plenty of baseball chat coming your way. The Brewers wrapping up their spring training season with a 4-1 victory over the Reds yesterday in Milwaukee. Off day today and then opening day tomorrow. Although if you have a little bit of a baseball itch, you'll have to watch Netflix tonight for Yankees and Giants for opening night. But Brewers yesterday also making a move and acquiring Jake Woodford, a pitcher, from the Rays. And he was with the Rays in a non-roster invitee for spring training and such. But Woodford coming over in exchange for a minor league pitcher, Casey Hunt, and cash considerations. Woodford is added to the 40-man roster. So last year, his career, 5.10 ERA. And he has an ERA of over 6 last year with the Arizona Diamondbacks. So, but he's a pitcher that has 5 different pitches. Matt Arnold yesterday saying happy to have him. He's pitched in a number of different roles. He's been a veteran in the league for a while. A guy we faced, obviously, with St. Louis. We have some history with him, and he's an interesting arm that could play a valuable role in a number of different spots in our bullpen or potentially even at the front of games. So, again, just at this point where we wanted to add some depth, and he's right-handed, and I think we're obviously a little more skewed to the left-hand side, so we feel like he's a really good fit for us. So, but with that, since we are just a day away from opening day, I want to throw a couple of questions your way for discussion here. And I really want kind of your insights, your analysis, your thoughts on this. So, one, I want to talk a little bit about Christian Yelich, okay? And a question that I kind of want to pose to you all out there. So Christian Yelich has definitely been a topic of discussion for Brewers fans for a while now. Some good, some bad, some indifference. Maybe the truth is in the middle a little bit. But when it comes to Christian Yelich and how you view him on this team and where he's at in his career, is Christian Yelich a star, still a star, or is he just kind of a good complementary player? I think we can all agree for the most part is that he's not the same player he was in 18 and 19, MVP candidate and such, but he does have that massive contract. How do you view Christian Yelich in terms of maybe importance on this team and in terms of the overall success? How much is on his shoulders? I mean, you look at last year, 264, 29 home runs, 103 RBIs. Okay? I think we would take those numbers again this year. But in terms of the we need him to be that same player or that type of player, maybe even just a little bit more out of him this year if maybe we want to take that next step, not just getting to the postseason, but advancing. Like, how do you still view Christian Yelich? Do you view him as a star player? Do you view him as just a solid player, a good complementary player? I'm kind of curious just to get where the Brewers fan base is when it comes to Christian Yelich. And then in the same breath, with Jackson Chourio entering year 3 of his incredibly young start to his career. You know, we talk about year 3. Last year we talked about year 3 in football terms with Jordan Love, and for a lot of Packers fans wanting to see maybe another step or maybe another level when it came to Jordan Love. So Chourio's got a couple years under his belt. He's coming off of a World Baseball Classic. Do you is it too early? Is it too early to say that maybe we need to see Chourio develop into that all-star this year? And I get it. Lots going to depend on health and such. But how pivotal do you think it is to see maybe just a little bit more or to see Chourio take another step this year and fully maybe get into that all-star that we're all assuming that he's eventually going to become and the face of the franchise and such. So kind of curious to get your thoughts on that, both Yelich and Chourio. And who do you think, as we get set for opening day tomorrow, is the most pivotal person in the overall success for the Brewers this year? Who is that person, do you think, is, the most important player, person involved in the Brewers getting back to the postseason and maybe winning the division again? So I got three things coming your way, and I really want to get all of your insights and inputs on it. So again, you can hit me up with a text on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line or hang out at the Section 105 chats on YouTube. So lots of baseball, lots of Brewers chat coming your way here this morning. We're going to throw a little football chat into this too. We are going to kind of kick off. It's a little bit unique this year because the Packers don't have a first-round pick, but we are a little under a month away from the start of the NFL draft. So, going to kind of kick off our Packers prospect series, and obviously with a little twist because we're not going to be looking at first-round picks. So, we're going to be kind of focusing on day 2 picks, rounds 2, round 3, right? That's what we're going to take a look at. So, we're going to kick that off today. We're going to take a look at a prospect or two that could potentially be a fit for Green Bay on that Friday, the day 2 of the draft, rounds 2 and 3. All right, so we're going to kick that series off this morning as well. So, and for this too, I know, round 1s could be easier, or round 1s might be filled with the players that a lot of fans know. So I want to kind of highlight day 2 here, and because I really believe this is going to be an important draft for Green Bay without that first-round pick to still find players that can contribute right away for this team to plug in some holes and such. And you look at Green Bay's history over the last few years, they've done a decent job of finding those day 2 players who are contributors right away. So they may not be the biggest names out there unless somebody's falling, but I think it's a very crucial day in the draft for Green Bay, especially this year. So we'll take a look at that. We'll talk a little hoops. Bucks back at it tonight against the Portland Trail Blazers, but it may not be the biggest news from yesterday because the NBA Players Association rebuking the Bucks over the report that the Bucks want to shut down Giannis for the rest of the season. The Players Association rebuked the Bucks over their dispute, implying that Milwaukee is tanking and damaging the NBA's integrity by wanting to shut down Giannis for the rest of the season. In a statement, it says the player participation policy was designed by the league to hold teams accountable and ensure that when an all-star like Giannis is healthy and ready to play, he is on the court. Unfortunately, anti-taking policies are only as effective as their enforcement. Fans, broadcast partners, and the integrity of the game itself will continue to suffer as long as ownership goes unchecked. We look forward to collaborating with the NBA on meaningful new proposals that will directly address and discourage tanking. Now, Bucks haven't officially come out yet and ruled out Giannis and such, but it's still a big unknown at this point. So, but Bucks will be back at it again. Taking on, it's going to be a late one because they're on the West Coast against the Trailblazers shortly after 9 p.m. tip time tonight. So, also on the docket, since it is a Wednesday, it is a Mike's Star Market. Am I wrong? All right, give me your best am I wrong statements. Am I wrong for thinking this? Am I wrong for saying that? Sports related. All right, sports related. Also, it is your Hy-Vee game changer. So think about the past week or such. Maybe it was a game on your bracket that really changed the outcome of what your bracket was going to be, or maybe you're feeling pretty good about your bracket because of some of the outcomes and such. So what do you got for your Hy-Vee game changer? Plus, we'll do a little Inside the Hobby coming your way later on. So that's your game plan this morning. Let's get at it. We're going to lead things off talking some Brewers. Brewers picking up a win, 4-1 yesterday in their final tune-up before the regular season kicks off tomorrow. I've got 3 questions that I'm throwing your way that I want some of the responses for. How do you view Christian Yelich at this stage in his career? Is he still a star player? Is he just a good complementary player? Solid player? How would you describe Christian Yelich? And Jackson Chourio, is it too early to say we need to see him develop into that all-star player heading into year 3? And who do you think is the most important person for the Brewers this year and for them to get back to the postseason and maybe repeat as division champs? All right. Let's hear it. I want to hear from you. We'll take our first break, and then we'll get things rocking and rolling here with the leadoff coming up after these quick words. Hunting season will be here before you know it, and that preparation starts right now. At Tilden Gun, they know serious hunters don't wait until opening day to get ready. And whether you're gearing up for the upcoming spring turkey season or maybe you're planning ahead, now is that time to make sure your equipment is dialed in. From shotguns and rifles to optics and ammunition and must-have accessories, Tilden Gun has the selection and expertise to help you step into the woods with confidence. Maybe it's time to upgrade your setup. Maybe it's time to sight in that new optic. Or maybe it's just stocking up so you are not scrambling later. Turkey season demands precision, patience, preparation. So stop on in to Tilden Gun and talk with the people who understand the hunt because they live it too. Tilden Gun, get ready now so that you are ready when it matters the most. All right, let's get things rolling here this morning on the leadoff, shall we? Let's talk some Brewers as we inch closer and closer to opening day. Yesterday, the Brewers with a 4-1 victory in their final tune-up before opening day, which will be obviously tomorrow. But also yesterday's game, kind of got to see final tune-up for a couple pitchers. Sproat went out there, pitched 4 innings, 2 hits, 5 Ks, no earned runs, a couple walks. Harrison also looking sharp in his final tune-up. Went 4 1/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 5 Ks, and that earned run coming on a dinger. But Brewers just going, and then Fitzpatrick closing it out with 2/3 of an innings to wrap it up here. So, but offensively, Brewers looking at 8 total hits again yesterday. Chourio, kind of the same, little bit of the same lineup. You know, yesterday we talked about, did we get maybe kind of a hint of what that lineup card would look like for the Brewers, at least at the beginning portion of the season? And maybe so, because Chourio back in the leadoff spot, Terrain hitting in that second spot, Contreras third, Yelich fourth. Vaughn did bats in that fifth, and then you had Bowers and Frelick, Hamilton, and Ortiz towards the Ortiz at the bottom of the lineup. So, yeah, maybe that's how the lineup card is going to look in the early goings of this Brewer season with those top four. And honestly, you probably can't argue with it too much. I think just the big thing is Chourio and his walk, strikeout numbers. Can he get on base? Besides maybe just, power numbers and such. But yeah, I can't argue with it too much here. So, but we'll see how and again, it's going to be adjusted. It's going to be, tinkered with throughout the whole regular season. It's not going to be a set, this is how it's going to be cut and dry type of lineup. Is there some benefits for guys consistently staying in the same spot or around the same spot? Absolutely. It depends, preparation wise and such, but it's going to be adjusted and different more times than not throughout the season. But I think it kind of gives us a decent idea of what Pat Murphy and the Brewers are at least thinking right now with their lineup card. But, yesterday, I mean, you look at Sproat, who's going to get, action this year, early action as a starter, and then Harrison coming back. I think you got to be feeling good. I mean, there are a couple of unknowns, right? There are a couple of youngsters that a lot is going to be on their shoulders this year to be top performers to help the Brewers get back to the postseason and maybe even repeat as division champs. So maybe feeling heading into the season confident. There's probably going to be some ups and downs with these younger pitchers. And yes, I know Sproat and Harrison have a little bit of major league experience and such, but there's probably going to be some inconsistencies and such just because of their inexperience in that. But I feel good about where they're at. I feel confident about where they're at this point in time, and I'm excited to see where their season gets going here. So, but when it comes to Yelich and Chourio, how do you view, or what do you think the expectation should be for those two? Yelich wise, when you look at Christian Yelich, do you view him as, well, he's got to be a star player? I know some fans are probably going to still view him as a star, like he's got to be a star player because of the contract and such. And I get it. I understand that thought process, but do you still view him as kind of like an all-star type of player? Should that be the expectation for Christian Yelich? I mean, he did make the All-Star game a couple years ago, so I mean, he's not that far removed. And you look at his numbers from 2025. I mean, okay, let's look at the last couple of years, okay? So, I mean, 2024, that first half, heading in the All-Star break, Christian Yelich was awesome. I mean, he was hitting 315, right? 315. He had 11 home runs. He was slugging .504, the highest since 2019. His OPS was a .909. Again, he was putting up numbers that were matching or around his 2018-2019 seasons, where he won the MVP in 18. If he doesn't get hurt towards the end of 19, maybe he wins back-to-back. But then that injury ended the rest of that season in 2024. And then last year, plays in 150 games. Average is down to a 264, but he hit 29 home runs, the most, again, since 2019 when he had 44. 103 RBIs. The first time he cracked over 100 RBIs since 2018. So is Yelich, in your opinion, still a star player? Or is he just a good player? Potentially good player. How do you view that? Or what does he have to be for the Brewers this year to be successful, to get back to the postseason? Does he have to be a star player? Or maybe you have a higher expectation that not just to get to the postseason, you want to advance in the postseason. And maybe that's where you're like, that's why he's got to be a star player, because I want to advance in the postseason. Wins above replacement WAR, nothing right now is going to match what he did in 18 and 19. Right? I mean, in 18, he was a 7.3. At 19, he was a 7.1. Last year, he was a 3.1. 2024, he was a 2.3. In fact, 2023, he was a 3.5. So even his 3.1 wasn't the highest since 2019, slightly higher in 2023. But, I almost feel like he doesn't have to be, nor do I expect him to be like a top 5 player in the National League this year. If I'm just kind of throw, I don't expect, and would I love it? Oh, heck yeah. I mean, I'm not going to, be like disappointed or like upset. Like that would be awesome, because if Yelich is going to go out there and put up these like Kyle Schwarber DH style numbers here, hey, nobody's going to complain about that unless maybe you're a Cubs fan or non-Brewers fan that goes up against Milwaukee and such. But is that my expectation? No. It's not. Honestly, if he puts together similar numbers to what he did last year, maybe that you'd like to see that average tick up a little bit. Maybe you'd like to see, the OPS tick up a little bit, because he was 795 last year, but the year prior, 909. And the year prior to that was 818. So his career, he's a career 839 OPS. So maybe you'd like to see that number just kind of tick up a little bit this year. Honestly, I feel like I think it's fair to say the expectation for him is kind of maybe somewhere in the middle between star and good. Maybe competing for an all-star spot, all-star level type of player. I still think that's fair to ask for Christian Yelich. I mean, he's maybe old in terms of Brewers' ages, but he's 34 years old. All right, there are still guys who are getting it done offensively that are older than him. And we're not counting on him to be a Gold Glove winning outfielder again. Right? We're not counting on that. He's probably got to get some starts in the outfield, but would you maybe, okay, so let me ask this. You look at the batting average and you look at that stuff. Would you rather have Yelich kind of be like a Schwarber where, all right, the average is down because last year Schwarber hit just 240, but the guy hit 56 dingers and 132 RBIs? Would you rather have a lower average, maybe a little bit lower on base, but home run numbers and RBIs are up? Or do you take something similar to what you got last year from Yelich? Last year, Kyle Schwarber on-base percentage was 365. He hit 240, but his OPS was a 920. Played in every single game last year, too. Kyle Schwarber, 162 games. Good for him. And those two, Yelich is a little bit older, but they're similar in age. But I think, for Yelich, I don't have the expectation necessarily anymore for him to be this, top 5 player in the National League and such. But if he can hover between, good to great all-star level, I think that's a fair expectation. The more interesting question might be, what should the expectation be for one Christian Yelich this year? Or, one Jackson Chourio this year, entering year 3. Rookie year, a little bit of a slow start, finished off with a bang, right? Dude looked every part of this, oh, that's a future star to making. Last year, maybe slowed down a little bit with injuries and such. The expectation for him was like, could he be a 2020 player last year? And I think injuries kind of derailed that a little bit. So entering year 3, if you're a Brewers fan, do you want to see maybe Chourio be that all-star player this year? Be that face of the franchise? If we throw out a poll, who's the best player on this Brewers team? I think it'd be split between Chourio, you throw a little Terang, you throw a little Contreras, you throw a little Yelich in there. But is this the year where you just want to see, okay, he is the undisputed best player on this team? Do you want to see that from him this year, taking that next step? Or You're still going to say, hey, he's still kind of young. Give it a little bit of time. At what point do we as a fan base, as Brewers fans, and at what point do others stop saying he's still young? At what point do we stop saying that? Let's talk a little Jackson Chourio. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back with plenty more coming up after these quick words. Looking for a great night out in Eau Claire? Then you need to head to the VFW Post 305 located on Star Avenue. Come for the food, stay for the atmosphere. From crowd favorite fish fries to burgers, sandwiches, daily specials. Hey, there's always something hot and delicious coming out of that kitchen. It's not just about the menu. With live music, themed parties, community events, and there's always something happening at the VFW Post 305. It's where good friends meet and good times happen. VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire, your neighborhood spot for a night well spent. So what should, for year 3 for Jackson Chourio, what should the expectation, what do you want to see from Jackson this year? Is it, you want it because it's year 3, and I know it's not the greatest example, and I'm not trying to make this sample, but like, for instance, last year football season, we were like, hey, this is the 3rd year of Jordan Love as a starting quarterback for the Packers. We got to see a jump. We got to see, another step. Just maybe another step. It wasn't a ginormously, but majority is like just, maybe a little bit more. And you look at Jackson Chourio entering year 3, still incredibly young, obviously. But the other part of that is like, when do you stop saying he's still young? Age-wise, yes, he is still young. But from experience-wise now, heading into year 3 and coming off as being a starter in the World Baseball Classic for the champs, Team Venezuela. Looking at his projections this year, this is from Baseball Reference. They're projecting a 280 batting average, an OPS of an 804, slugging 474, 21 home runs, 76 RBIs, 19 stolen bases. So, honestly, they're probably projecting a 2020 season for Jackson Chourio this year because they tend to go maybe just a little bit under. And you look at his first year, his rookie year, he hit 275, 21 home runs, 79 RBIs, 22 stolen bases. Last year, 21 home runs, 21 stolen bases, 78 RBIs, 270. Played in 17 fewer games. I think it was clearly evident that hamstring issues that he had been dealing with. If he doesn't have those injuries, does he surpass some of those numbers? Does he get another home run or two? Does he add a few more RBIs? Probably, right? I mean, probably. The one thing that's probably you'd like to see more is something we alluded to. He had fewer walks last year. He only took 30 walks in 131 games. 2024, in 148 games, he took 39 walks. But that's been a number, that's been something that has popped up the last, couple years in the early goings of Jackson's career is, hey, you like to see those walk numbers go up a little bit, especially if he's going to be batting the leadoff and all that. But, I mean, war-wise, last year he was a 2.2. His rookie year, he was a 3.9, wins above replacement. But is like year 3 this year, should the expectation be, all right, everybody says this is a future star or this is a star in the making. Not just Brewers fans, but national peeps. Does it have to be this year where it's like, there you go. When you talk about star players, right, you think of the Bobby Witt Jr.'s, the Aaron Judges, those type of players. That's when I think of star players, that's what I think. Obviously, I'm not going to put him in, Ohtani is just in a stratosphere by himself. But you think of those type of players, right? You think of, like that's a star. That's a perennial all-star type of player. And I think that's the expectation when it comes to Jackson Chourio. So do we have to see that this year? And if not, when do we stop saying he's still young? Age-wise, he is. But career-wise, he's entering, yes, is just his third year, too. He's got hopefully a long career ahead of him. I don't think there's anything wrong with maybe setting the bar a little bit higher for him this year. If you want to put a number to it, do you put close to 30 home runs? Do you put him as a 30-30 player last year? That was kind of the talk. Could he be a 30-30 player last year if he's not dinged up or banged up? Maybe he gets close to that. Should that be the expectation this year where he's 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases like a Pete Crow Armstrong was last year? Is that, the next step for him? I don't think there's anything wrong with having a little bit of a higher expectation for him. And yeah, I'm probably one of those fans, and maybe I'm just setting myself up for disappointment. Maybe I'm just, kind of getting ready. I don't know how to say it, but I do want to see another step from him this year. And I think that's fair to say. I mean, let's not forget, they gave him a long-term contract before even playing a single inning in Major League Baseball. And now he's into year 3 with that. And maybe a lot of that has to do with if he can just stay healthy and the hamstring issues aren't bothering him. Maybe it's as simple as that. Hey, if the hamstring issues aren't bothering him, it's going to happen. Great. Awesome. Let's go. I'm ready to roll. But I think it's fair to say, look, okay then. If that's not going to be an issue, if that's not going to be a part of it, all right, let's see him take that next step. I think it's fair to say. And I'm excited because I think he can. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not predicting he can't. I think he can. And that's what makes this team exciting because, yeah, there's a lot of youth and maybe a lot of inexperience, but there is optimism for growth and continued growth for a lot of these younger players. Right? I mean, because, and this is not a knock on a guy like Brandon Woodruff or anything like that, but we kind of know what to expect from Brandon Woodruff, maybe outside of can he stay healthy, but from, pitching standpoint, like, okay, yeah, we kind of know. Maybe we kind of know a little bit for Contreras, too. He's like, okay, you're going to get a catcher that's going to want to play every day. He's going to get you some doubles and maybe get you around 20, 25 home runs. You kind of know that. But you look at the Chourios and the Tarangs, it's like, man, maybe we got a little bit more power there. Maybe we got even a little bit more coming from them this year. And obviously with the younger pitchers and such, that's where the optimism and maybe some of that untapped potential is there for the Brewers. When it's all said and done, we look at all these players and we talk about all these players and pinpoint, man, if they do this, if they do that, if they can reach that potential, if they can play that well, wow, that's going to be great. In my opinion, out of all those people, out of all those players, still the most crucial, important person for the overall success for the Brewers this season is Pat Murphy. Can Pat Murphy still continue to play the right keys, to play the right cards? Can he still continue to do what he's been doing these last couple of years? Taking a young roster, taking a roster that nobody is giving a ton of love to, and still go out there and win, and still go out there and pull the right cards. Is every decision he's going to make this year going to work? No, because there are going to be more times than not that I'm sure fans are going to criticize. He pulled that pitcher too early. Why are you making that substitution? That didn't work. There's going to be a lot of hindsight 2020 for some of these decisions. It's going to happen. It happens to every manager. It happens to every coach. So for 162 games in this regular season, we are not going to say, man, 100% of his decisions worked. But obviously you hope there's going to be, more decisions like, oh yeah, that was smart. That was good. But considering you look at this roster and you look at all of the potential that is there, if Pat Murphy continues and is continues to do what he has been doing for these last couple of seasons and surpassing expectations and playing the right cards and making a lot of right decisions and moves and just inspiring and motivating his team, it shouldn't surprise anybody if the Brewers are back in the postseason this year. It shouldn't surprise anybody if they win the division again this year. I chuckle at reading a lot of these experts' predictions this year, and a lot of them say they make the note of they don't have the Brewers winning the division, but they make the note, yeah, we wouldn't be surprised. We keep picking against them, and but would it surprise us if they're in there? No. It's like you already know. You're kind of setting yourself up to possibly be wrong again when it comes to the Brewers. So if you look at all these preseason picks and such, like I think one of them I was reading, it was a clean sweep. I think it might have been from CBS Sports. Clean sweep for the NL Central. It was Cubs winning the division. Brewers clean sweep second. But you read the write-ups. Wouldn't be surprised if they win the division again, though. We always overlook them. When are you going to stop doing that then? I mean, when it comes to those predictions and such, a lot of those, quote, experts, they're going to pick what they feel like is a more for sure thing. They're going to pick based off players that they know more about. And they know more about players on the Cubs. But in terms of potential and hitting their ceiling, I think the Brewers have the best at that. It's just an unknown, and it's a little bit of a gamble. And when it comes to those predictions, not a lot of, quote, experts like to make gambles because they want to look good in their picks, right? They want to be more right. So they kind of play it safe. All right, we got to take our final break, and then we'll wrap up the first quarter. We'll be right back after these few words. Accidents happen, but getting back on the road should not be stressful. At Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, you will find experienced technicians, quality craftsmanship, and service that you can trust. From collision repair and dent removal, full paint work, and insurance coordination, they handle the details so you do not have to. They will restore your vehicle the right way, safely, professionally, and with attention to every detail. When your vehicle needs expert care, choose a team that puts quality first. That's Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, bringing your vehicle back to life, one repair at a time. Superior Auto Body, our backyard dreams partners for this year. So, all right, we just got a couple minutes left to the top of the hour, so we'll get to some of your texts and comments coming up just past the top of the hour. If you're just joining or haven't had a chance to, give us your picks. Let me know what Brewers person do you think is the most, notice the keyword I'm throwing in there is person, so it could be player or coaches. Person do you feel like is the most crucial to the overall success of this team this year? All right, you can hit me up with a text, 715-830-1912, or comment on the YouTube chats in section 105. Also, what are your expectations for Jackson Chourio entering year 3? Do we need to see that leap from him? And Christian Yelich, do you still view him as a star player? Is he a good player, role player? How do you view him? All right, so we'll get to your picks coming up just past the top of the hour. We'll finish up a couple minutes with Morgan. Good morning, Morgan.
Hey, how's it going, Casper?
Good, how are you?
Opener Eve?
Yeah.
Are you going Brewers all week with the fashion?
I didn't on Monday, so I guess so.
Yesterday and today, though. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do a feud-style top 5 board in honor of baseball kicking off today, okay?
All right.
Top selling Major League Baseball jerseys. This is where your worlds collide, sports and fashion, okay?
Not fashion.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right to the top. Let's see how many of these you can knock off. If anybody wants to text in, vote, you can do that as well.
Ohtani.
Okay, I'll put that on the list. It's not on this list for this feud board.
How is he not?
Because I think it's an older feud board. Okay. This was like an actual from the game family feud board.
Oh, wow.
So we may be going back a while now.
Yeah, because, is Judge on there? Judge has got to be on there.
Okay. No. How about this? I'm going to give you this list.
Okay.
And then we make a new list. Okay. Top 5 selling jerseys for the MLB as of 2010, so it's older.
Oh, it is older. Okay, so.
Cliff Lee.
Oh, jeez.
Chase.
Utley.
Yep. Roy Halladay.
That's like all Phillies.
Joe Mauer.
Okay.
And the top spot's not a Philly, but you probably know who it is in the 2010s. Think Yankees.
Jeter?
Right. Okay. So now if you're going to amend it for 2026, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Top selling jerseys.
Ohtani's 1. Judge has got to be 2. I'd probably throw Bobby Witt Jr. in there.
Okay.
Oh, Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens got to be in there for sure, pitcher-wise.
You got one spot left in the MLB rack.
More. I'm trying to go through some. Is it another Dodger? I don't know if it'd be another Dodger. It's got to be another Dodger.
There's probably $1 billion payroll roster. It's another Dodger, I'm sure.
I'd go Juan Soto.
Which, did you just hear the season opening all game day prices?
No.
They're up on all stadiums, and they said the average experience for a family at Dodger Stadium, $500.
Oh, that's cool.
That's affordable. And I think that's just like a dog and a beer. Right? Yeah.
So I got the 2025 most popular MLB player jerseys. I got 4.
Hit me.
3. Yeah, 4. Shohei was 1.
Right.
Freddie Freeman I thought of, but I didn't know if he'd be top. Freddie Freeman was 2. Juan Soto, Mookie Betts, and Aaron Judge. So I got 3.
Of that list, what would you wear?
Paul Skeens is only 15. I feel like that's going to get higher. Of that list, Freddie Freeman. I like Freddie Freeman.
Now let's do Brewers. What's the next Brewers jersey you would pull?